Hey guys, Troy Francis coming at you from Warsaw in Poland. So today's video, I want to talk about being present in her world. Okay, now this is something that comes up a lot. This is kind of getting into the weeds of dating strategy a little bit, but I think it's something that's important to talk about. And that is, broadly speaking, when you get a phone number, when are you messaging her? Okay, and further to that, say you've been on a date with this woman already, when do you message her then? Or do you just not message her until the next time you see her? Okay, this is something that kind of, it's just these little fiddly logistical things that guys get, kind of stumble on a lot. And I stumbled on a lot when I was learning about this stuff as well. And, still today, sometimes you can think, well, what's the best thing to do here? What should I, do I want to send a message? Do I want to sort of hang back a little bit? Blah, blah, blah. So let me give you my take on this. And this is based on my many countless years of experience in the trenches out there, and also teaching guys all over the world, hundreds of guys all over the world, and training guys through my online courses and so on and so forth in the wonderful art of dating. Okay, so what do? My view is that now in 2023 and going forward, we need to be ever present in her world. Okay, it's not enough to meet somebody. So say you're in Starbucks and you get talking to an attractive woman and you guys exchange numbers and you say, oh, we should go on a date or whatever. It's not enough to leave it for 4 days and then drop her a message, okay? If you then go on the date with her and say you go for a couple of drinks on Thursday night and then you say, oh, maybe we can meet next Friday, and then you don't message her at all for 6 or 7 days, in my view, that is also a grave error. Why? Because we live in a world of constant, continual connectivity. Okay, we're connected the whole time via our wonderful phones to everybody and everything. Okay, and secondly, look, we live in a highly competitive dating marketplace where if you're not at the forefront of her mind, then somebody else can very quickly come in and usurp you in that position, they probably will. And listen, even if you are forefront of her mind, that might happen anyway, because we live in a pretty cutthroat world, right? But look, you need to be in the forefront of her consciousness for more of the time than not, okay? Now, let's put in a few caveats here. What I don't mean by this, all right, what I absolutely don't mean by this is that you're there the whole time and you're sending the dreaded good morning message and the good night message, like, oh, morning, how are you this morning? And then, later on, oh, are you on lunch? How's your lunch break? And then later at night, oh, good night then, kiss, kiss. I'm not talking about that. That's BS as well. Just throw that out the window. That's absolute nonsense. However, if I get a phone number right, so the first question guys say is, all right, so when do I text her? Shall I leave it till tomorrow? Blah, blah, blah. No, just message her like within an hour after you met her. Just send her a quick message like, hey, nice meeting you. Troy, whatever, right? Get the ball rolling, okay? Because again, it's not that she's going to completely forget about you in a day. Obviously, she won't. If the first interaction was good when you first met, assuming you guys met in real life, right? If the interaction was good, then she's not going to immediately forget about you. But listen, life goes on. Life moves pretty quickly, all right? She's probably got Tinder, she's probably got Bumble, she's probably got Hinge, right? She's got Instagram, so she's got guys hitting her up in Instagram. She's got other guys that may be approaching her in other bars, in other cafes, in the street, whatever, right? There's all of this other attention that's coming from different places. Now, if you're a high value man, then hopefully you're the best guy that she's going to meet for a while. But listen, if somebody else is in there and he's blowing up her DMs and you're not, then it's not going to take much for her attentions to wander. Okay, so I would message her pretty soon after you guys have first met and try to get the ball rolling. Now, what you want to be doing, okay, so there's two approaches really to text game, and this isn't meant to be a big video about text game, but I'll just briefly summarize here. There's kind of two approaches to this. The first one is very logistics based and very short term. Okay, so it's basically like, hey, it was great meeting you, blah, blah, blah. Maybe you go back and forth a little bit, and then you say, listen, I know a great cocktail bar. Let's meet on Thursday. How about 8 o'clock? Okay, and you set the date. All right, that's a very logistics based, short term texting strategy. Okay, the most straightforward texting strategy. However, sometimes that's not going to be possible. What if you're leaving town for 2 weeks because you've got a work assignment or you're traveling? Or what if she's going away for a bit and you're not going to see her for a while? Or what if you met her in Vienna but you live in Berlin and you're not going to be back in Vienna for a couple of weeks, or, you know, whatever, right? There's all these different scenarios that come up. If the thing is going to last for a bit longer, then you need to have a sort of an ongoing text dialogue with her that is flirtatious and entertaining, but which isn't needy, okay? And that's where the art of it starts to come in. And the way that you do this, and I've got actually a book called Text Game Mastery, so if you're interested in that, drop me an email, troy@realtroyfrancis.com, or you can get it in my bundle of books. The link is below. Renegade Dating Blueprint, guys, $39. But yeah, you need to have a sort of an easy, rhythmic back and forth with her that's kind of flirty, kind of fun, not too serious, not too logical, not too goddamn linear, for fuck's sake. You know, you don't want to be so tell me more about your day. And then after you went to the notary's office, what did you do then? Did you attend the post office? And do you know what I mean? Like, you've got to get away from logic. You've got to get away from boring, nonsensical, minutiae chit-chat like that. But what you can do is send little memes, or little photographs of weird, funny crap that you saw, or little videos, okay, voice notes. You know, you want to vary it up a bit, vary up the media that you're sending her, keep it interesting, keep it a little bit exciting, okay? There should always be an undercurrent of flirtatiousness, though, flirtiness. I can't talk. There should always be an undercurrent of flirtation, okay? Because you've got to maintain the premise that this is a man-to-woman thing, okay? So if you're not doing that and you're getting too friendly, that's a problem as well. But yeah, I mean, mix it up a bit. Send photographs, send videos, send memes, send pictures, send weird like news articles and stuff that you saw online. There's so much stuff that you can send just to keep yourself front of mind without it getting stale, without it getting boring, okay? But ultimately then, as soon as it's practical, you want to be moving things onto a date and getting it to come out on the date, okay? Now, going back to the topic, say then you guys meet for a date. And the date goes pretty well, and you have a couple of drinks, and then maybe you say goodbye, she goes her way, you go yours. What I would normally do is I would normally say to her, oh, look, just drop me a message when you get back, just so that I know you got back okay. All right, so that's the first thing, because then you're maintaining you're giving her a reason to maintain the conversation. Okay, she gets back, she sends you a message. You send a message back, maybe you say something like, oh, are you in bed yet? You know, a little bit suggestive, blah, 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 whatever. She goes, yes, I'm in bed, and goes, oh, I bet you're thinking of me. You know, that sort of thing. Again, it's sort of humorous, it's light, it's a little bit flirty. Then it goes into the next day. And then you're not texting her first thing in the morning the next day, but maybe later on the next day, maybe you see some funny news story or something, you send her that, she comes back, she sends you some laughy emojis, you're like, oh, good day, behaving yourself, question mark, you know, she comes back. Maybe then you don't reply, but then a day later, or maybe even a couple of days later, you know, you see something else that's funny, you send her that. Maybe you send her just an emoji that's a little bit of a non sequitur, but it's kind of funny, so you send her that, and she comes back and she goes, oh, how are you doing? You know, I hope you're having a good day. My week is so crazy. Like, you want to be having this nice little, not serious, sort of flirty banter that's going backwards and forwards, so there is a connection between you that's maintained. Because I'll tell you the worst thing, right? The very worst thing that you can do is you say goodnight on that first date. It's like, right, I'll show you to your taxi, darling, and you put her in the Uber, good night, and then you don't speak to her again for a week. All right, there's no contact for a week, and then a week later you're like, would you like to come on another date with me? I mean, it's nonsensical. It's socially awkward. It's uncalibrated. It's ridiculous, and you're letting it go cold. Okay? It's like, I don't know, man. I mean, it's just ridiculous. It's like leaving a meal out on the table so that it goes completely cold, and then nobody wants to eat it. Right? It's like you've got to maintain a vibe between the two of you. Now, because we live in this multifaceted, multimedia, 24/7 connected, bizarre kind of world now. It's almost expected, all right? You are there as not as a form of entertainment, but it's increasingly necessary to maintain a presence in other people's lives, because otherwise it just goes out of our... I mean, I don't know about you, but like I've got a number of people that I'm messaging, you know, say on WhatsApp at any given time, and maybe some on Instagram or something like that. And there's a danger, you know, and look, I mean, to any of my nearest and dearest, I don't mean you, but I mean, there's a danger that people that aren't sort of, you know, sending us those pings, sending us those messages, they kind of just go out of our head. You know, even for me, I'll look back at last year and I'll be like, oh yeah, I did meet that girl in Warsaw. Oh, I did meet that girl in Krakow. I couldn't remember, you know? So it's your job to find ways to stay front of mind as far as she's concerned, but in a kind of non-creepy, non-invasive, fun, non-needy way. All right? Now, that may sound like a bit of a tall order, and perhaps it is, although it gets easier with practice. But that's what you've got to be doing, guys, okay? Because, as I said, if you just leave it for too long, and you're not messaging her, you're not contacting her, and then suddenly you come out of the blue and say, oh, would you like to meet me for an orange juice on Thursday? Then she's like, who the fuck's this guy? And she's probably been texting Chad for the last 5 days anyway. So now you're out of the picture. So it's super, super key, this. And there's a whole real art, I think, to texting. All right, and when I say texting, I mean that in the broadest sense. You might be in her DMs on Instagram, you might be on WhatsApp, you might be on Telegram, whatever it is. But there's an art form to it. It's not complex. I'm not saying art form, you have to be Leonardo da Vinci, but you've got to get used to it, okay? If you need help with this, then drop me a line, troy@realtroyfrancis.com, or get on a call with me. My calendar link is below, and we can discuss, and we can figure out if there's a dating strategy that we can work on together to help you going forward. But as I say, this stuff is super, super key, very important, particularly in 2023 and going forward into 2024, etc. Because, we are in this interconnected world, right? We are in this 24/7, always-on space, and you need to reflect that in the way that you interact with the people around you, particularly women, okay? Anyway, hope that helps. Subscribe to the channel, for God's sake. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, what the hell are you doing? Seriously, what the hell are you doing? Subscribe to the channel. Give me a like, give me a comment below, and I'll see you again very soon. Bye-bye.